And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we get ready for our 7th race of the season, our first road course stop in our 2nd season of the NNSCRA Hersheys Cup Series. We are here on the West Coast in Napa Valley, getting ready in wine country to go racing at Infineon Raceway, also known as Sonoma, also known as the old circuit of Sears Point, and we're getting ready for 23 laps here today. Yesterday in qualifying, history was made as we have an all-rookie front row. Stephanie Gardner, who in her very first Hersheys Cup Series starts on the pole position, alongside of second in the rookie points, Marty Johnson in the 20 for Joe Gibbs Racing. It's certainly going to be very interesting to see two rookies starting up here at the front of the field at a road course. And at a road course, track position is so important, and we'll see if that comes into play in today's race. Then you've got Fitzwater Australia Racing making up row number 2 with former winner this season at Rockham UK, Zachary Fitzwater starting off third, and former chaser from last season, Jake Baskinger, in the 59. I believe this is his best qualifying effort in the season. The top 10 in points coming into this race, we have time to be able to give it to you before the command to fire him up. Kyle Matthews is still the points leader. He has a 7-point lead over Cody Lamas. Grayson Acavito is third, Dallas McIntosh fourth, Fitzwater is fifth, then it's Brandon Gonzalez, Daniel Voiles, James Richardson, Emmanuel Hartnett, and Leon Alvarez is now 10th in the point standings. This race coming off the conclusion of a very controversial finish last week at Texas, when it was basically NNSCRA's decision on whether or not Brandon Gonzalez or Michael Norman was the winner of that race. Brandon Gonzalez was announced as the winner of that event, so we'll see what's going to happen in today's race based off the controversy that took place last week. We're going to cover a couple more top stories in just a moment, but first we're going to go down trackside and get the command to fire up these 42 engines.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Well, the King Richard Petty certainly gets around. This is the second straight week that he has given the command to start the engines. He gave the command last week at Texas. Now, one of the big top stories coming into this race, if you look on the right side of your screen, that is if the race had ended after Texas, what the chase points would look like coming into today's race. One name is conspicuously missing from that chase grid, and that would be our winner from a few weeks ago at Atlanta, Charles Sanford. Now, why is Charles Sanford not on that list when he has a win? Last week, he was one of 2 drivers who DNF'd at Texas. And with that being the result, he dropped to 31st in points. And the NNSCRA rules are that if you have a win, you must still be in the top 30 in points for that win to count towards you having a chase spot. So for that 03 team today, their main goal, not only to go out there maybe get a second victory, but also to move themselves back into the top 30 in points to have their Atlanta win count towards a slot in this season's chase for the championship. So as things stand right now, out of our 6 previous race winners, only 5 of them at this current point in time are locked into this season's chase. Only 2 drivers that are, or make that 3 drivers that are former winners this season are currently in the top 10 in points. Kyle Matthews, the points leader, Zachary Fitzwater 5th, and last week's winner Brandon Gonzalez now 6th in the points. Levi McIntyre is actually 11th in the standings. He's almost into the top 10 in points. And then, of course, you've got our other race winner this season, which would be, my memory's failing me right now. I almost had it. I just lost it. Give me a minute. I'll think of it. It's not coming to me. I know it's on the tip of my tongue, and I cannot pull it in. Benjamin Miles, that's who it is. Our winner at Bristol Dirt. He is down somewhere, I think he's like 16th, 17th in points, but he still has a nice cushion between himself and 30th. So Charles Sanford, we'll keep tabs on that 03 during the course of this race. The last thing that team can afford is another DNF, because it was a DNF last week that caused him to fall outside the top 30 in the standings. Infineon Raceway. This track is name unto its own. There's no doubt about it. This track always a lot of fun to come to. And with what we saw take place in the qualifying session, these drivers might have a little bit of difficulty keeping themselves on track, and so we could see a lot of action take place here in the first few laps or so with everybody bunched up double wide. We'll see. And we got a situation back there. Is that Dallas McIntosh appears to be coming to pit road? So an unscheduled stop for the guy who comes in fourth in the points. Now the only thing that is kind of beneficial to him having a problem here at Infineon is it's going to take these drivers a bit of time to get around the racetrack. He might be able to stay on the lead lap, but obviously not good for the Cheese at Ford. Not really certain what's wrong with his machine, but we'll find out momentarily whether it's going to be terminal or not. As here we go, an all-rookie front row Stephanie Gardner, her first career pole and her first career start, and Marty Johnson get us underway here at Infineon. This is going to be one of the biggest trouble spots right up here, this right-hander. A lot of drivers overrun it and go off the course. And it looks like for the most part everybody got through it pretty well. Marty Johnson into second. Jake Baskinger clears his teammate Zachary Fitzwater for third. Fitzwater now back to fourth. The battle on for fifth. That's over. Marie Minobi going to move by Tim Walsh and take that spot. Walsh way wide up onto the rumble strip there. Now is a battle between himself and William Brock. That would be for, I believe, the sixth position. And now the top 10 basically single file. We'll jump back here to a battle going on between John Cittadino, James Qualls. Oh boy, and then you got Zachary Fitzwater and Jessica Shelton fighting tooth and nail with Rocco Twyman, Matthew Dallio, Kyle Matthews, and Grace Nakavita behind this. And Flickinger gonna try and clear. Looks like he might clear coming down here into the paperclip turn 11. And now Rocco Twyman's gonna try and get two positions in one. Matthew Dallio diving to the inside as well, but back up towards the front. Stephanie Gardner checks out on the new second place driver Jake Baskinger, and she leads the first lap of the race. Let's quickly jump and see if the 16, yes, Dallas McIntosh did get back out on track ahead of the leaders, and so he is still on the lead lap. So good news for him. Now they're hoping for a caution so he can catch back up to the tail end of the field. There you see the 82 out in front. Jake Baskinger took that turn a little bit wide, and now Marty Johnson closes the gap up between himself and Baskinger for that second position. Caution flag is out. The yellow flag is out here on the second lap. I'm actually quite surprised they made it a full lap without having the yellow flag come out, so the caution flag is waving. Got a good battle back here. William Brock and Marie Minobi. That would be, I believe, for the fifth position. And Brock gets off track a little bit, and Minobi's going to get a good run here coming down into the right-hander, heading down towards turn 11. Not going to be able to make the move, though. Was close, but not able to make the move. And Stephanie Gardner, who had checked out on the rest of the field, probably did not want to see that caution flag come out, but it came out nonetheless. And she'll lead us under our first yellow. The one driver that definitely wanted to see that caution would have been Dallas McIntosh, who did manage to remain on the lead lap and will be caught up now to the tail end of the field. So the yellow flag out for the first time here today. I'm not rightly certain what the fuel window is, so I don't really know if we should stay with these drivers or not. We're going to step aside because it's going to take them a while to get to pit road. So we're going to step aside, take a look at a replay of what brought out this yellow flag. Let's see if we can find any indication. Leon Alvarez, Cole Baker, Ryan Madden, they're all here near the rear of the field, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Madden started this race dead last. Maybe the 9 of Alvarez. I didn't see anybody on pit road, so it might have been just a simple case of somebody spinning close up mid-pack, and NNSCRA deciding to throw a caution. So let's take a look at a replay of what put us under the yellow flag for the first time here today at Infineon. One of the toughest parts of this racetrack, turn 11, and this actually took place closer to the rear of the field, but it did bring out a caution nonetheless. They were almost practically 4 wide here, and you see Emmanuel Hartnett trying to stick it to the inside of Leon Alvarez. Alvarez turns right to try and not run into Trent Dunham, and when he does that, he just kind of gets hooked off the nose of Emmanuel Hartnett's machine. Evasive maneuver there by Cole Baker to avoid. Same for Ryan Madden, but the car was sitting in the middle of the racetrack, and so NNSCRA throwing the caution flag, and that's what put us under the yellow. So apparently we did not actually, well, we might have actually completed a lap under green. I'm not certain if Stephanie Gardner had already gotten to the stripe or not, but the caution might have come out before she got to the line. So we may not have actually completed a lap under the green flag. No, I think we did. You can see up there, that's like mid-pack that just reached the stripe. So we did complete one lap under green and then the caution flag coming out. But a solo car spin in turn 11, hey, if that's all we have today for action, we should be settling in for some good green flag runs. So we'll get ready to go back green flag racing. It'll be on lap 6 of 23. Dallas McIntosh did catch back up to the rear of the field, and Leon Alvarez has continued as well. I don't think that team even made a pit stop. There wasn't any visible damage. Maybe they came down and changed tires, but from what I heard, nobody did come down pit road under this yellow flag. So, as we get ready for the restart, Stephanie Gardner leads the way. She's now got Jake Baskinger behind her in the 59, so not rookie Marty Johnson alongside, instead a seasoned veteran, a multiple-time winner last season in her rearview mirror. Marty Johnson lines up third, Fitzwater fourth, William Brock fifth, then it's Marie Minobi sixth. Seventh place, Tim Walsh, eighth, Zach Flickinger, John Sedino ninth, and James Qualls will complete the top 10. Remember that yesterday, in our knockout qualifying session, four drivers ended up hitting the 1:11 lap times. On that first lap, only one driver hit the 1:11 lap time, and that was the pole sitter Stephanie Gardner. So that 82 car definitely strong, and obviously running the same setup that they ran in qualifying, apparently, because lightning fast lap time there. Clean racetrack out in front. We saw how she checked out on the field, and that must have been when that 1:11 lap time was run. Just barely cracked the 1:11s. 1:11.979 is officially that lap time that she turned. So you could definitely bet Stephanie Gardner would love to be able to get that kind of restart once again. Dodge Dart has only been to victory lane one time this season. That was with Zachary Fitzwater back at Rockingham, UK. Right now they have 3 Dodge Darts up inside the top 4. Marty Johnson, the lone Toyota, and then the Chevy of William Brock completes the top 5 in 5th. Pace car will make the left-hander onto pit road, and we're getting ready to go back green on lap 6 of 23. That gives us 18 laps to go in this race. A single file restart, so we'll see how long it takes for them to get racy again. Jake Baskinger going to want to time this restart as best he can, because if Stephanie Gardner gets another good jump like she did last time, she's going to be off and running. Here we go, waiting on the flagman. Green flag's out, and it looks like everybody got a pretty much the same start. Marty Johnson might have been a little bit slower, but Baskinger hung with Stephanie Gardner. She didn't shake him. Looking back mid-pack, that's when they're starting to bunch up and get double wide, and that's when the trouble can break out. And Baskinger, again, he has a little bit of trouble, it seems, with that one turn. He always seems to run it a little bit wider. And that allows Stephanie Gardner to scamper away. We may have a battle here for 4th in just a minute. William Brock is hounding Zachary Fitzwater for that spot. Oh, contact, Brock and somebody else. I don't know who that was. Did somebody go off track? Yes, they did. That was John Cittadino. Matthew Dallio also going off track, but we are still green. Oh, and they are going to get really bunched up here in just a moment. Mongold trying to get back on track. He almost hit Brandon Gonzalez. Oh, boy. Keep it together, guys. Keep it together. And it looks like they have. And Marie Minobi also was off track and is just now coming back onto the racing surface. I believe both her and her teammate John Cittadino went off track in that portion. Stephanie Gardner leads the way, though, as we are still green with all chaos breaking on up behind them. Baskinger right there in 2nd. And then we got the battle on for 3rd. It's a 3-way battle right now. You got Zachary Fitzwater, rookie Marty Johnson, and William Brock in the 15. Tim Walsh hoping that they race it up a little bit so he can get up there. And apparently I was incorrect. I thought John Cittadino was the car that went off track as well. No, he did not. He's actually still up there in the 8th position. So an error on my part. It's kind of difficult to tell those two Dustless Blasters Toyotas apart from each other. I think the slight difference is Cittadino's green is not quite as bright as Minobi's, but when they're racing like this, with a lot of other cars around them, you don't really take the time to look at the shading and tell which one is which. So it was actually Marie Minobi who went off track. I think there was some contact between her and William Brock that sent her off track. Austin Mongold also went off track as well, but they've all recovered, gotten back onto the racetrack. You saw Fitzwater overrun the corner, so William Brock now jumps up to third, and up to fourth place is Marty Johnson. Now Tim Walsh looking for the fifth position as we had a change for the lead, well, at least a battle for the lead. Baskinger trying to get the top spot away from Stephanie Gardner. Gardner says not right now, and she will hold him off at least for the moment. But Baskinger right there, thought he might make the move there in turn 11. Wasn't able to get off the corner quite as well, but he's trying to charge back again, try and take the top position. The top two have checked out. They're roughly 2.5 seconds ahead of the now third place car of William Brock. And right now, it is basically a mano-a-mano, Stephanie Gardner versus Jake Baskinger. The experience factor obviously going to Baskinger, but the speed factor I think definitely goes into the wheelhouse of Stephanie Gardner. Got another battle going on back here. That would be for the 6th position. Tim Walsh right now holds the spot. Zach Flickinger wants it. Keep in mind, Zach Flickinger was a former winner last season at a road course, Lime Rock, so not surprising to see him up here. And then you've got John Cittadino right now running in 8th. 9th place is now Joseph Srigley. Nice run for the 05, and now a battle for 10th between a couple of good friends, James Qualls and the points leader, Kyle Matthews, now trying to break into the top 10. Mentioned too, Kyle Matthews comes into this race as the points leader. He has a 7-point advantage over Cody Lamas, and the caution flag's actually out. And Cody's running a couple of spots behind Kyle, 3 spots back in 13th place. Grayson Acavito, third in points, not too far back as well, right there in 14th. But the yellow flag is out for the second time here today. A bit of a green flag run there. Gives everybody a chance to catch their breath and regroup. Let's see if we can find out what brought this out. Oh, looks like Jessica Shelton. Some rear end damage on the Tampa Bay Rays Chevy. And front end damage on the 97 of Emmanuel Hartnett. Austin Mongold way back here, but he had gone off track earlier, so that might have been why he's so far back. Looks like there was some contact between the 97 and the 02, however, and Hartnett came into this race 9th in points. Shelton was actually running very well in the standings as well. So this is going to hurt the both of them unless they're able to continue. So we're under the caution once again. I really want to stick with these leaders just in case they come to pit road, because I think they are going to have to make at least one pit stop before this race is complete. And this might be that pit stop. We're not quite to the halfway point. We won't hit the halfway point until we're midway through the 11th lap of the 12th lap of this race, I should say, which is about roughly 3 laps from now. So we are actually just going to, for the moment, we're going to stick with the leaders here. We're going to stay live, and we're going to see if indeed these drivers are going to come to pit road. If they bypass pit road, then we'll take you to your replay and show you what happened. But I think that this is an important part of this race, and so we're going to stick it here. And I also noticed that the 01 of Zach Flickinger, it might have just been my eyes playing tricks, but I think he's got some left side damage. Yes, he does. There you see it. I don't know where that contact came from. Don't know if it's going to affect him speed-wise. And good thing they stuck with the leaders, because guess what? They're coming to pit road. So Stephanie Gardner will lead them all down the pit lane. And they will begin their first round of pit stops here on lap number 9. Let's see what they're going to do. Are they going to go with a 4-tire stop? Or are they going with just packing it full of fuel? 2-tire strategy? Let's see. Stephanie Gardner gets that first pit stall. The benefit of starting on the pole. A couple of drivers appeared to have stayed out. It looked like Trent Dunham. I couldn't tell who the other ones were. Possibly Dougie Shears. It also looked like Jessica Shelton stayed out, even with that damaged machine. We'll see them as they go by behind the pace car. The drivers that stayed out, that's Carson Scott, Trent Dunham, Voiles, Gonzalez, Mongold, and Shelton. And down and away is Baskinger and Brock and Walsh. It's a 4-tire stop for Stephanie Gardner, Marty Johnson, Zachary Fitzwater. They're going to lose a lot of time and a lot of spots on pit road. Gardner, a long, lengthy stop for her. They're 3 wide off pit road between Flickinger, Poteet, and Dougie Shears. Same back there for Citadino, Galligan, and Baker. And Stephanie Gardner is way back there. I don't know why they took so long on that pit stop, but that's going to cost her dearly. And the new leader of this race is going to be the 38 of Carson Scott over Trent Dunham, Daniel Voiles, Brandon Gonzalez, Austin Mongold, and Shelton now in 6th. Those drivers did not pit. Lights are out atop the pace car, so we're going to have to look at the replay really quickly and then come back, get ready for the green here in Infineon. Well, now it all becomes clear. This was back on lap 8, just before the caution came out. Mongold, Shelton, Gonzalez, Carson Scott, Trent Dunham, they had all come to pit road already. They were making green flag pit stops back at lap 8. And then Shelton's going to come out on the racetrack, merge back with the traffic, and apparently Emmanuel Hartnett did not realize that. He was trying to get a run on Daniel Voiles and just ran into the back of Jessica Shelton's machine. So it must have been just cosmetic damage on the O2, and they apparently decided to stay out. There you see the front end damage on Hartnett. And that's why the O2 decided to stay out, because she had just come to pit road. So that's why those drivers stayed out there under this caution. Makes sense now, but that's what put us under the caution flag. A driver leaving pit road, another driver not realizing that they were trying to merge with traffic. So that's our yellow flag, and let's go back now for the restart. Getting back just in time as the field is filing through turn 11 and getting ready to go back green. Don't even bother looking at the leaderboard. It's not going to tell you much because it's not going to be correct until they cross the start finish line. Carson Scott is your leader. Trent Dunham second. Then it's Voiles, Gonzalez, Mongold, Shelton, Baskinger, Brock, Walsh, and Matthews. Green flag back out. We're back underway here at Infineon. Pit strategy definitely coming into play in this one. And somebody just left pit road. That's Emmanuel Hartnett. Right now scored in the 41st position. We do have a driver actually out of the race, and that's Rocco Twyman. Apparently a header problem, so his engine expiring. Tough break for Rocco. A go or go homer. This was one of his few starts this season so far. As Trent Dunham moves into the 2nd position. Voiles now to 3rd. 4th, Brandon Gonzalez. And look at that. Damage and all, and Jessica Shelton's moving by Austin Mongold for the 5th position. So it must have been cosmetic. It's not hurting her speed at all. This is not a track that relies on aerodynamics, so, you know, your car can have its hood removed and its rear removed and whatever else, and probably can still run up to speed with the leaders. There's the first of the cars to pit, Jake Baskinger. Now, I did not look to see if he made a 2-tire or no-tire pit stop, but right now he is the one on freshest tires, I would think, if he took any. And right now he's trying to get by Jessica Shelton. That would be for the 6th position, but Carson Scott's enjoying the view. That caution couldn't have come out at a better time for the driver from AS Racing, the Great Clips Chevrolet. Carson Scott, former winner in this series. I believe his win last year came at Homestead Miami Speedway. I'm not 100% certain, but I think so. And he may have to deal momentarily with Emmanuel Hartnett, who's on the tail end of the lead lap right now. And slowly getting reeled in by the leader. Daniel Voiles now into 2nd place. Trent Dunham running in 3rd. 4th place, Brandon Gonzalez, and then right now the highest running rookie is Austin Mongold due to pit strategy, right now running in the 5th position. There's Jake Baskinger. He got around Jessica Shelton for the 6th spot. Now he's going to try and reel in everybody else. As far as our battle for the points lead, that's actually kind of heating up as well. Trent Dunham got off track there, and he's going to lose the 3rd position to Brandon Gonzalez, but Cody Lamas has managed now to find himself in the 10th position. Actually, I think he just moved by William Brock for 9th. Kyle Matthews did not have the best of pit stops, and there you see him right there, mired back in the 15th position. But the one driver that lost out the greatest on all of that was the rookie pole sitter, Stephanie Gardner. There she is. She restarted all the way back in 32nd place, and right now is in a hornet's nest. A very, very lengthy pit stop for the pole sitter, and somebody spun. That's Chris Dodd in the 08. Look out. He spun there in turn 11. Everybody was able to avoid him, and he's been able to continue, so we're still green. We talked about Charles Samper, how he needs a good finish to have his win at Atlanta count towards a spot in the chase for the championship. You see him not over in the chase grid on the right side of your screen right now because he's 31st in points. Well, right now he's running in the 38th position, so not good for him. Cole Baker, Dylan Young way back here, 39th and 40th. I wonder if they may have just come to pit road again, because they have lost the field. Carson Scott right now still leads the way, and now he's about to try and put Emmanuel Hartnett down a lap, and while he battles with Hartnett, that's going to allow Daniel Voiles to come onto his back bumper. Voiles does not clear Hartnett, though, and now Carson Scott will have a lap machine between himself and the number 26 Mercedes-Benz. 10 laps to go here at Infineon. Still plenty of time for anything to happen. And also, keep in mind, if they were just starting to make green flag pit stops, that's the one thing about these pit stops that always confuse me, is you never know if they are pitting so that way they can make it on one more stop, or if they are pitting so they can make it the rest of the way. Now, Jessica Shelton and Carson Scott, Daniel Voiles, Brandon Gonzalez, Trent Dunham, Mongold, they were all on pit road back on lap 8 going on to lap 9. So that means that they either can make it 15 to 16 laps on fuel, or they can only make it 8 to 9 to 10 laps on fuel. If that is the case, we went back green with more than 10 to go, which means that these drivers could potentially, I can't say it for certainty, but these drivers could potentially still have one more pit stop to make before the checkered flag waves. If so, this race could definitely come down to fuel strategy. And I can't stop but think about fuel strategy racing at Infineon and not think about this guy, Brandon Gonzalez, last week's winner. Whoa, 3 wide through turn 11 there with Trent Dunham, Jake Baskinger, and Tim Walsh. That was a great battle right there. But Brandon Gonzalez in the now retired Mobil 1 Cup Series ended up picking up a victory on fuel strategy at this very racetrack. And you gotta think that they are thinking about that if this race does come down to fuel mileage. But if it does come down to fuel mileage, those drivers that did pit one lap earlier than everybody else when that caution came out, they're gonna probably potentially be 1 lap shorter on fuel. Jake Baskinger restarted in the 7th position. He's now worked his way up to 5th. He's bypassed Jessica Shelton and Trent Dunham, 2 drivers who did stay out. Now he's got the leader Carson Scott, Daniel Voiles, Austin Mongold, and Brandon Gonzalez to try and deal with. Tim Walsh having a great run right there in the 6th position. And how about Jessica Shelton got wrecked to bring out the 2nd caution, decides to stay out though since she had just been to pit road, and right now she's still up to speed, battling now with Trent Dunham for that 7th position. So that's one thing I love about road course racing, is cosmetic damage doesn't mean diddly squat. You've got a damaged race car at this kind of a racetrack, doesn't matter. As long as your engine is up to full song, you can battle with the best of them. Cody Lamas right now trying to see if maybe today he can take the points lead away from Kyle Matthews. Right now he's scored in 9th. Last time by, Matthews was scored in 19th. So that's 10 points that Cody Lamas made up on Kyle Matthews, and he came in today 7 points to the 7 points behind. So right now, as things would run, he'd be 3 points to the good over Kyle Matthews for the points lead. Top 10 completed by Young Motorsports' JT Bryant. Great run there for the Fozzie Ford Fusion. Having a great run, and we really didn't talk much about him, but now he's popped up into the top 10, so definitely worthy of some TV time. Speaking of TV time, apparently I missed out on a battle for the lead. Daniel Voiles got around Carson Scott a couple laps ago, and now leads the way in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes has yet to win in the Hersheys Cup Series, and Voiles would love to be able to win here at Infineon. But again, the big question on him as well as Carson Scott is, what about fuel? And there's somebody else just up ahead. Oh, that's Stephanie Gardner. Did she just come to pit road again? I don't know if she came to pit road again or if she spun out or what, but she's all the way back here in the 40th position. And the leaders are very slowly beginning to reel her in. So a bad day goes worse for the rookie pole sitter in her first start. Daniel Voiles looking for his first win of his career. Carson Scott looking for his second. Then you got Austin Mongold. Great run for that rookie right now in the 3rd position. This, I believe, is Mongold's 3rd start of the season. It's either 2nd or 3rd. I want to say it's his 3rd. And don't look now, but Jake Baskinger's getting that Wilson Security Dodge Dart wound up and ready to go. He just got around Brandon Gonzalez. That was for the 4th position. Now begins to set his sights on Austin Mongold, but he'll have to deal with the lap machine of Emmanuel Hartnett before he can do that. How good to go on fuel are the leaders, or any of these drivers for that matter? And somebody just hit pit road. I think that might have been Shelton. So that means, yep, green flag pit stops are going to settle out this race. Shelton gives up the 8th position to come to pit road. This says to me nobody can make it on fuel the rest of the way. Nobody else at this point on pit road, so Shelton rolling the dice, short pitting. We'll see if it works out in her favor. We saw Stephanie Gardner had also been quite a ways back, and so I gotta wonder if she may be short pitted. There will be 5 to go when we hit the stripe. And if Shelton's pitted, that means that Voiles, Carson Scott, Austin Mongold, Brandon Gonzalez, and Trent Dunham, they've got to be basically on fumes right now, or very close to it. We may see them in this lap. This is going to get very, very interesting. Is Voiles coming to pit road? No, he is not. Neither is Carson Scott. But Baskinger is. Interesting. A driver who came in under the caution and not under the green to pit road is coming to pit road right now. So he'll give up 4th place, Will Baskinger. Trent Dunham is in. He was one of the drivers that did stay out, had pitted earlier. John Arndt is in. See who else is rolling the dice and coming in this time. Looks like Zach Flickinger, the U.S. Army Chevrolet, is coming in from the 33rd position. Shelton off track a little bit there. Dylan Young in the 39th position. I don't know if he and Cole Baker have pitted yet or not, but they're quite a ways back as if they had already pitted. And if they do not have to pit, Cole Baker is actually ahead of Jessica Shelton right now, and Dylan Young's just behind her. So if it comes down to it, it could be those drivers. Who knows? Who knows? Daniel Voiles, is he going to have to pit this time by? Carson Scott about 1.6 seconds back, and Voiles, no, he's not coming to pit road. Neither is Carson. What about Mongold? Yes, he is. He's giving up 3rd place. He's coming to the pit lane. Brandon Gonzalez is in. Tim Walsh is in. Looks like Marty Johnson. Well, no, I thought he was indicating he was coming to pit road, but he's not. William Brock's coming, though. 9th position. He's in. Levi McIntyre indicating. Yes, he is. He's on the pit lane. 18th place. Here comes Leon Alvarez, who brought out our first caution. Has worked his way up to 25th. He's on pit road. And that's going to do it for that wave. Baskinger, he came out behind Cole Baker, but ahead of Jessica Shelton. And Dylan Young, she got around Shelton as well. And now comes the big question. I'm really hoping we don't have a caution. I want to see this race end under green flag conditions and see who's going to come out on top in pit strategy. I think, if I'm not mistaken, last year when we raced here, we ended up having this start with them doing green flag pit stops, and we had some kind of a random caution come out, and it just completely messed up the pit strategy. I'm hoping that does not happen, and here comes the leader. Daniel Voiles is in to make his final pit stop of the day. Carson Scott will have the lead turned over to him, and when he hits the stripe, by the way, folks, it'll be 3 laps to go. Cody Lamas gives up 3rd place. He's in. Anybody here coming in? Here comes 7th place Joseph Srigley to the pit lane. James Richardson, 12th place, is in. Here comes 14th place Sean Galligan. Johnny Gardner from 15th. Dougie Shears, teammate Fitzwater, they're 16th and 17th. They're in. Marie Minobi, I think that was Anthony McCrory, also in. Oh, this is going to get good. This is going to get really good. So the lead got turned over, I believe, to Carson Scott in the 38. It did indeed. Who I'm not certain, but I'm almost absolutely positive is going to have to pit this next time by. I believe the only drivers at this point that have stayed out could potentially be Carson Scott, JT Bryant, Marty Johnson, Acavito, Dalio, Poteet, Madden, Qualls, Matthews, Miles, as well as McIntosh, Norman, Cittadino, Michaels, Dowd, and Sanford. I believe those are the only drivers that have not pitted yet, and now Carson Scott is on pit road. JT Bryant, he's in. Marty Johnson is in. What about Acavito? He's in 4th. He's in. Dalio is in. Poteet's going to try and stretch it another lap along with Ryan Madden. Qualls is in. Matthews is in. Here comes Miles, McIntosh, Norman, Cittadino, Michaels. Dowd and Sanford would be the last two. Dodd is in, and so is Sanford. I said Dowd again, didn't I? Dodd. I got it. No! No! Yellow lights are on! The caution is out! No, not what I wanted! Oh, come on! And Dylan Poteet just took 2 laps to go. So the caution flag is out. Now the big question is, can Poteet and Ryan Madden make it around one more time? The yellow flag is out. It came out after Poteet crossed the stripe, so they've got to at least race it back to the line. This could potentially be the battle for the win, unless these two can't even make it the rest of the way on fuel. Oh, I was hoping this thing would go green to the end. Is Poteet coming in? No, he is going to risk it, as is Ryan Madden. Pit road's closed anyway, so I'm not certain they could come down pit road even if they wanted to. And the white flag is going to be displayed along with the caution flag, as Voyle still sits on pit road. And now comes the big question, can Poteet and Madden make it back to the stripe on fuel? If they can't, the question is, who's running third? Is it Carson Scott? I think it is. Voiles had a very long extended stay on pit road. Carson Scott crosses the line in 3rd place. Mongold, I believe, would be 4th. Waiting for the scoring update. Yep. JT Bryant looks like he would be 5th. 6th place would be Brandon Gonzalez. 7th, Acavito. 8th is Lamas. 9th, Qualls. And Baskinger would be 10th. Dylan Poteet and Ryan Madden, they have caught up to the pace car. Now here's the interesting thing. If they cannot make it the rest of the way on fuel, pit road would be open this time. It was closed when they went by last time. So the big question is, will they have enough fuel to get from turn 11 to the start-finish line, or will they have to come to pit road? Poteet, looking for his first win of the season. It would come on fuel mileage. Ryan Madden started this race from dead last, I believe. I'm almost certain it was dead last. It was either dead last or it was down near the final row. And right now he's running in the 2nd position. Cole Baker got trapped a lap down, as did Stephanie Gardner. They're running, I believe, 40th and 41st. Oh man, I don't even know what this caution flag came out for. We'll look in a moment to try and find out. Let's see if anybody's actually retired. That might tell us. No, nobody retired from the race. I almost wonder if it could have been something to do with the 26 of Daniel Voiles, because he was up in front when these pit stops began and had a very long extended stay on pit road, which almost says to me maybe he was involved in something. And Poteet and Madden are looking like they're going to come to pit road. Now, here's the interesting thing. What is the pace car doing right now? He's doing 35 miles an hour. I believe that is the pit road speed, which means if Poteet or Madden have their pit stall after the start-finish line, they could still win this race. Oh my goodness, are we going to have yet another controversial race? Poteet, where's his pit stall? Is it before or after? It's before the start-finish line. And Carson Scott goes by for the lead. Carson Scott, after the cycle of pit stops, he's going to come to the line, and Carson Scott, in an unbelievable fashion, is going to win the race here today at Infineon. How about that? Unbelievable. And Poteet and Madden just got splash and goes. They're going to finish 6th and 8th, though. I'm absolutely astonished. What kind of a finish that was. Oh my goodness. So Carson Scott will pick up his 2nd win of his career, 1st of the season, and could have potentially right there locked himself up a spot in this season's chase for the championship. Wow. Unbelievable. Don't really know if we even have to go back and look at the replay of what put us under the caution, but we'll do it anyway. Well, this is what brought out that caution flag to finish this race under yellow. This was actually a battle for position. Anthony McCurry drives it in hard underneath rookie Dougie Shears. It just doesn't stick, and he gets into Dougie Shears' left or right rear quarter panel, and it spins him around right in front of Johnny Gardner. But he did get the car refired. Unfortunately, though, they did throw the yellow flag, and that is what ended this race under caution. Boy, that would have been quite an interesting finish had this thing gone green. But with the fact that Dylan Poteet and Ryan Madden both came to pit road under the caution, says to me they probably would have pitted with 1 lap to go, and it more than likely would have still cycled around to Carson Scott winning this race. So at least this week we don't have a pit road controversy like we did last week. So Carson Scott brings the Great Clip Chevrolet to pit road. He'll be the one heading to victory lane as he picks up the win. Austin Mongold will get rookie of the race, 2nd place finish for that driver. Great run for him. JT Bryant will finish the day out in 3rd. How about Grayson Acavito? Acavito comes in 3rd in points, and another solid outing for that 66 car as he'll get 4th. And Brandon Gonzalez, quite a follow-up after his win last week at Texas, as he'll take 5th place. Dylan Poteet almost was able to stretch it on fuel, but not quite. But he'll settle for a 6th place finish. Cody Lamas more than likely will be the new points leader heading into next week as he'll finish 7th. Ryan Madden, what a great job of fighting through the field for him. Almost was able to squeak out 2nd, but had to pit there in the later stages. He gets 8th. How about James Qualls there in 9th? And Jake Baskinger kept himself in the top 10 all day. Looked like he was going to be one of the players for this win, but that caution just coming out the wrong time for him. Jessica Shelton, she was a caution at one point. She brought out the 2nd caution of the day. Stayed out, though. Played fuel strategy, and she's going to finish 11th. How about Dylan Young? Great run for him. We saw him down at the tail end of the field at one point. He had pitted early, was able to come away with a 12th place finish. John Arndt, another driver who also used fuel strategy to get a great finish in 13th. Marty Johnson started the outside of the front row, and he'll finish 14th, so great run for him. And Tim Walsh will complete the top 15. As you look on down through the remainder of the field, we ended up having 36 of our drivers finish on the lead lap. Stephanie Gardner and Emmanuel Hartnett both finished off the lead lap. Daniel Voiles, Trent Dunham 2 laps down, and Cole Baker finished 3 laps down. Rocco Twyman was the only driver out of the race, a header problem and engine failure for the 19 car. So this is definitely going to shake the point standings up going into next week, with the fact that Kyle Matthews came in as the points leader, finished in the 21st position, and Cody Lamas, who came in 7 points back in 2nd, finished in 7th place. Also, one thing I want to look at too, where did Charles Sanford finish this race officially? And Sanford finishes in 34th. I don't know if that's going to be enough to move him back up into the top 30 in points or not. We'll find that out in just mere moments.